S&P 500.
It's your boy Jimmy. Jimmy.
Now, what's worth doing is worth doing for money.
Straight from y'all street to Wall Street.
Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't make up happen.
Dudes wake up, hope their girl turned on so they can get a little bit. Only woman in the morning, I want to turn on this. Becky quick. While the average man looking at this sad life. She fine as yeah. I'm over here looking at tails and whips like, yeah, 5-6. I left the mayhem for the market. Now I don't want a dope spot, I want a stock pick. I know that booty got dry, triggered my stop losses, but I ain't got time for your wop. My V-wops crossing. Rich with hot V's and pushing hot strategy and plans to make grand. Still in my wife beater, Batman pajamas, house slides, and about 5 hot picks for the day. Cause I like the way the Dow bounces. 4 hot dips on call, so I got options. 2 with a lot of volume, 1 with a double bottle. Now I know dumb money don't understand. Am I talking about my trade or just thinking with my MACD? You see, we different in the way we move. You move with kittens and your dog, I move with bears and bulls. I got a green thought, grow with the marijuana. Waking up with the fun, some commas. Jump out of bed, big profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, big profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and stop. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETL, make profits. I jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, make profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. Yeah. See, me and Jim Cramer been talking mad money. Said today I'm taking a risk. They got the feds coming, but I got support here with me. I call a short squeeze. You get the drop, she pull the trigger, and abort these. If she stay on my watch list, I might have to wife her. But I know better. I'm a true trading group lifer. Call up the Wolf of Weed Street. It's time to flip some profits. Go ahead, be hawking. Get your spot here. I'll double top that in the head and shoulders. Hit him up with this resistance. Watch him roll over. Cause I see John Wicks in contract. If I say I make $1 million a day, well, that's a large cap. You moving average, that's why you get crossed. Get split, get delisted, and knocked off. And I'm setting the whole block off. I'm buying GameStop and selling them roadblocks off. Jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, make profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and stop. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETL. Hey, my family. Hey, go, what we doing, my man? Hey, make profits. Hey, Shug, Mike, what we doing? Hey, make profits. Yo, Wolf, Professor, what we doing? Hey, make profits. That TTG money gang,
making profits.
We some snipers.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on, folks? Welcome to the True Trading Group live stream. I'm thrilled to have you guys all here with me this evening. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend, but are ready to get down to business because we've got a very important, pivotal week in store for us this week. This week, we have the Jackson Hole meeting. Now, the Jackson Hole conference is something that happens every year. And every year, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, this obviously Mr. Jerome Powell himself, will be giving a speech. He gives a speech, or the chairman of the Fed gives a speech every single time that there is the Jackson Hole, which is towards the end of August. It is a multi-day event. It is taking place Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we will be getting Jerome Powell speaking at the end of this week. And it will absolutely, the speech that he gives will absolutely move the market. We need to game plan for it. We've got to prepare. We've got to have ironed out exactly what we are going to do, what we're going long, what we're going short, what we're buying calls in, what we're buying puts in, depending on what Jerome Powell says. Jerome Powell could give us some insight into we're ready for rate cuts, or he might say we're not ready for rate cuts. And depending on what he says is going to make the markets move, I think, in actually a very big way. So I hope you guys are ready to dive in. I've got a ton of different trade ideas I want to go over with you, the exact game plan laid out for you on a silver platter, exactly how I plan on making money this week. So welcome For those that do not know, my name is Michael Edward Paranada. I go by Michael Edward. I'm the co-founder and head trader of True Trading Group. I'm thrilled to have you guys all here with us tonight. TTG literally exists to help you guys all learn faster, trade smarter, and profit sooner. That is exactly what we're going to be doing tonight on this live stream. Of course, True Trading Group is very proud to be powered by the NASDAQ, Benzinga, OpenAI, TradingView, DataBento, and Unusual Whales. You guys, you see, TTG is an award-winning platform. We received the 2024 Benzinga FinTech Award for Best AI Analysis Tool. This platform is entirely integrated with literally industry-leading AI technology for retail traders. It is built on education. It's backed by experience, strategies that are proven by success, and tools that actually think every bit of it fully customized around you, the individual. No matter who you are, what you trade, how much money you have, or what your experience level is, TTG is here and it exists to help you guys make money. That's exactly what we do. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here tonight on this live stream. Is going to be getting you guys prepared to make some money here this week. See, members of TTG are part of something real special. And I couldn't be any more proud and happy to be on this journey with each and every single one of them. So I hope you guys are ready to roll your sleeves up tonight and get down to business. If this is your first time hanging out on True Trading Group's YouTube channel, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button. When you're done with that, smash that like button, show some love. And then when you're done with that, turn on your notifications. Make sure you never miss out on any of these live streams. I share with you guys trade ideas, positions I'm in, positions I'm getting into, market analysis, commentary, and education that can help you guys become better traders. And most importantly, can help you guys all make money. Let's be real. That's why you guys are here. You're not here on a Sunday evening just because you like looking at the painting that hangs behind me. No, you're here because you guys want to figure out how you can make money in the markets this week. And I'm going to prepare you to do exactly that. The next thing I want you to do, once you're done doing all of that, the next thing I want you to do is make sure you're watching this video live. Okay, you should see a red dot at the bottom left of your screen on YouTube next to the word live. If you do not see a red dot, that means you're watching this video delayed. So click the word live. It'll bring you right up to speed. You'll see the red dot there, and you guys will know that you're watching this in real time and you're not looking at any type of a delay. Okay, fantastic. Now, I know some of you that are maybe new to the channel, you might be wondering, who is this guy? Why should I listen to what he has to say? And the truth is, it's not because I believe that I'm the world's greatest trader. I don't. The reason why I think you should listen to what it is I discuss on this channel, yes, I'm a damn good trader and I know what I'm talking about. But the reason why you should pay attention is because I didn't figure this stuff out on my own. You know, I didn't have to watch YouTube videos. I didn't have to sit in Discord chats. I didn't have to go through Reddit pages. You know, I began my trading career right out of college. My very first job was working at T3 Alpha Fund in New York City. And while there, they had me go through a training program. Before they let me touch $1 of their money, I was trained by professionals on Wall Street. That's how I got my start. And then shortly after that, 2008 happened. And that was the Great Recession, the huge stock market crash. But that's also the same year that I received one of the firm's Trader of the Year awards. Now you fast forward, I'm the co-founder and head trader of True Trading Group, along with my team of 8 other professional full-time trading moderators and an over 30-person staff. We've helped thousands of members from all over the world reach their goals. True Trading Group has over 10,000 members in 114 different countries. Truly a global community here at True Trading Group. We trade stocks, we trade options, we trade futures, we day trade, we swing trade, we cover long-term investing. There's literally something for everybody here at TTG. So, like I said, smash that like button, show some love, subscribe, turn on your notifications, make sure you guys never miss out on any of these streams. And let's get ready to rumble. No, I'm only kidding. Let's get down to business. Let's talk about how we're going to make some money this week. Again, tonight, this is going to be a really big week. So for those of you that are not members, if you guys have been kind of like sitting there on the sideline, maybe you really haven't taken advantage of this epic stock market rally that we've experienced with stocks like NVIDIA and Palantir and Broadcom, all these up at these all-time highs, the recent rally that we've had in Ethereum. If you have not taken advantage of this stuff, then you are here on this live stream at the very perfect moment, okay? You're here at the perfect moment because I think that this week coming up, there's going to be a ton of opportunity for us to make money. A ton. I think you're going to get a lot of volatility this week with this Jackson Hole meeting. I really do. I think there's a lot riding on this. I think everybody feels like the market is extended. I think everybody feels like the market's expensive, but we just haven't really, the markets have not really found a reason for us to really pull back significantly. You had the hotter than expected PPI inflation number and the markets looked right through it. We didn't get a pullback. The markets looked right through it. The markets are still convinced that the Fed is going to cut rates at the September Fed meeting. Markets are still thinking you're at an 86% probability of the Federal Reserve cutting rates at the September meeting by 25 basis points. 86%. Even though you just got the hotter than expected PPI number. Now, that PPI inflation number was funky to say the least. There's a lot of things in that number that really, to me, just did not make a whole lot of sense. In investment advisory services fees, up 5.8%. What the hell is that? That's not something that's actually going to continue to be an inflationary pressure. That's not something that's anything related to tariffs. You had numbers and stuff that was in that report that really wasn't even related a lot to tariffs. You did have machinery was up a lot. Machinery equipment wholesale was up a lot. That is tariff impacted. But you take a look at that number, and that's why the market looked through a lot of it, because a lot of it was like one-off blips that are not calculated the same way in the PCE number, which is the inflation gauge that the Federal Reserve actually cares about the most. And I think that's why the markets really kind of look through it. Now, I can spend an entire hour on this live stream going through with you what about the PPI number was kind of funky? Why did the markets look right through that PPI number? Why did the markets not sell off when you got a much higher than expected inflation number for PPI? I can spend the next hour talking about that. I'm not going to, because I would much rather spend the next hour talking about not why a number is particularly what it is, but I would rather talk about how we are going to make money this week. That is what I care about. I don't necessarily really care about anything else. I don't care about politics. I don't care about geopolitical stuff. I don't care about any of it. All I care about is what can I do? Where can I put my money so I can make more of it? What can I do so that my money makes money for me? What can I do to help the 10,000 members from 114 different countries that are part of this TTG family? What can I do to help them make money? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. That's all that matters. You know, there once was a time where trading was only for people that had a lot of money and had a lot of free time. That is no longer the case. With the technology that we have today, with the creation of these trading apps like a Robinhood, or like just the mobile platforms on like a Thinkorswim and E-Trade, a Webull, you know, you have like platforms like NinjaTrader for futures. You have all this AI technology like Mari, which is our award-winning AI trading co-pilot that received the Benzinga FinTech Award for best AI analysis tool. These things, these specific pieces of technology are making it easier than ever before for the average person to take advantage of what is taking place in the overall markets. The stock market is the greatest equalizer in the world. We just found, I'll give you the perfect example of how this is the greatest equalizer. Okay. Warren Buffett is worth $100 billion, right? The greatest investor that this world has ever seen. And literally just this past week, it was announced that Warren Buffett had bought 5 million shares of United Health, ticker symbol UNH. And he bought those shares at an average of just under $312 a share. At the time that this was made public, United Health was trading in the 290s. Every single person on this live stream would have the exact same opportunity to buy the exact same stock at an even lower price than Warren Buffett just bought it. The stock market doesn't care where you came from. The stock market doesn't care what your GPA was, doesn't care where you went to college or if you did. It doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter who you love. Doesn't matter where you came from. None of it matters. Who you pray to or if you pray at all. The market doesn't care. And people that shy away from the stock market because they think it's, oh, that's not for me. There's nothing that drives me more clinically insane than when somebody says to me, the stock market's not for me. Why not? Making money is not for you. Investing in your family's future and making sure that your children live a better life than you lived is not for you. What about that is not for you? You don't need to be good at math. You don't need to have gone to an Ivy League school. You don't need to have worked on Wall Street. You don't need to have millions of dollars. You don't need to have all the time in the world to sit in front of a computer screen and stare at charts and scanners and screeners. That's not the case anymore. If you talked to me 25, 30 years ago, yeah, you would have to call up your broker, right? It would take you God knows how long to actually execute a trade. You'd have to read the newspaper to see what your stock did the day before, never mind what's actually the stock is doing at that moment in time. Yes, you talked to me a couple decades ago, then that statement would have been true. It is not true anymore. And there is no greater proof and evidence of that than the members that we have here at True Trading Group that are making money, that are becoming successful, and that are realizing and reaching dreams and goals that they never thought previously were possible, thanks to the technology that exists today. The scary thing is the AI TTG won the award for is a dinosaur compared to what TTG has now. This is actually true. And it all happened in less than a year. Boom. Yes. So Market Ninja. So we received the AI award in 2024. Since that, in the 8 months that we have had here so far in 2025, we have dramatically enhanced, upgraded, and improved our AI platform. It is leaps and bounds better than what won the award back in 2024. Okay. So listen, winning awards is great, right? Winning awards is great. It's the recognition. It's fantastic. Okay. But this isn't just about awards, you know? Also, you want another question? How legit is True Trading Group? Like, how legit is this platform? How legit is their AI product? Not only is our product improved and upgraded, but my business partner, Adam, who's the co-founder of True Trading Group and the mastermind behind everything that is the AI that is on our platform, he's actually going to be speaking on a panel with Perplexity in November on the topic of AI agents and finance. AI agents and finance. Adam is going to be speaking on that panel with Perplexity. That is True Trading Group. True Trading Group has a partnership agreement, a data partnership agreement directly with the NASDAQ themselves. We have a partnership with Benzinga. We have a partnership with Unusual Whales. There's a reason why all of these companies work with TTG. Is because they see and recognize what we are doing, leading the industry in this technology. And our technology is not just some little sexy buzzword that's meant to just perk your ears up and get you interested in a sales pitch. Our technology and our AI is designed to do one thing and one thing only: help our members make money a lot more easily and a lot more consistently. And it does exactly that. And you don't have to believe me just because I say it on a live stream. You shouldn't believe me, honestly, just because I say something on a YouTube channel. You should believe me because this is what our members tell you. Members of TTG, and I'll prove it to you. Members of True Trading Group that are on this live stream right now. I know there's many of you that are with me here tonight. You guys show up every single Sunday when I do these live streams to show support, but also to figure out how we're going to make money this week. And I appreciate, I love every single one of you. But for those of you that are not members, I want you to pay very close attention right now to what our members have to say. Members of True Trading Group, I want you to go ahead right now, type the number 1. If you guys are making money and you're becoming better traders because of the TTG platform that you are a part of, just go ahead right now and type the number 1. And anybody else that is on this stream that is not a member, the only thing that you should be doing is paying attention to how many people that you see type the number 1 in the YouTube chat. Because every single person that you see type the number 1 was once in your exact same position right now. They were a viewer on a live stream. And they were trying to figure out, is True Trading Group the place for them? Do I want to join this platform? Do I want to join this community? And now here they are telling you, I did join the community. I took the leap. I made an investment in myself and in my future. And now I'm sitting here today, living, breathing, telling you that I am making money and I'm becoming better at this. If they can do this, then so can you. There is absolutely no reason why these people can be successful and you can't. They don't have more time than you. 82% of our members have a full-time job. I don't want to hear the excuse that I have a full-time job. We have truck drivers that are on the road 14 hours a day that are utilizing our mobile platform, our mobile component, our mobile app. They're utilizing our technology to place swing trades while they're on the road for 14 hours a day. If they can do this, so can you. It's just that straightforward. They're not luckier than you. These members literally are you. They're your friends, your family members, your coworkers, folks. If they can do it, so can you. TGG members know exactly what is happening. Every day we are getting messages and comments on how I was never successful before. I am now, thanks to True Trading Group, the education, and having 24/7 access to the AI tool. It's literally like ChatGPT and a Bloomberg terminal had a baby. That is True Trading Group. So many say they regret not joining earlier. Fact. Members, type the number 2 if you regret not joining True Trading Group sooner. Type the number 2. That is the best way that I can explain to you the True Trading Group platform. True Trading Group is not just courses and a chat room and trade alerts. Yes, we have all of those things. We have courses. It's just the courses are a simplified and expanded upon version of the training I received working at the fund in New York. Yes, we have the chat room and we have the moderators that send out trade alerts. They share their screens with you. They trade in front of you live. They're with you the entire day. They're answering questions or providing market commentary and analysis every single day. Yes, all of that is true. But I think now, when you look at the evolution of True Trading Group, we are now a fintech platform that gives retail traders an edge, not just a fighting chance. True Trading Group gives retail traders an advantage over other retail traders. The harsh reality of this game, folks, is that you are not competing against yourself. You are competing against other people. When you place a trade, there is another person on the other side of that trade. If you buy a stock, that means somebody else just sold it. And if that person has more information, gets information faster, has better data, has better analysis, has better tools and resources at their disposal, they are going to beat you. When you make money in the stock market, it is not just created out of thin air. If you made it, that means somebody else lost it. But how can you compare with the big institutions with unlimited funds for making their own AI with their own data and partnerships? Compete, not compare. We don't need to. We don't need to. Right? You know, they're not interested in your account. They're not. They're not interested in your account. No, hold on. I'm dropping this. They don't have Adam. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, how can we compete? Listen, we've been working for about 2.5 years on the AI. We've invested 7 figures into it. And I mean, I can honestly say, I mean, I don't know. How can we compete? We're ahead. We're not just competing, we're ahead. We're winning. Why didn't one of those other firms win the Benzinga FinTech Award? I don't know. Why haven't they gone and built something out? I mean, listen, there's other platforms, there's other products out there, and I expect that there will be, but you want to spend $3,000-$4,000 a year on a trading co-pilot? Or do you want to join True Trading Group for a few $100 a year and have access to an award-winning AI platform that's going to help you guys make money? You know, I can even honestly, if you guys, I can maybe see if Adam wants to hop on and see if he wants to have a quick discussion about the AI. If Adam's here, if he's
what's up, dude? I know I need a haircut. I just figured that I would give you a little help here. So we don't need to compete with an institution. That's not our business model. Our business model is not to compete with automated trading funds and hedge funds and stuff like that, or to get the one up on them. That's not our business. Our business is to take all of the tools and data that they have for their big firms and put it in your hands in a way that anyone can use it and understand, even if you don't know what you're doing. That's what we have done. You have to think of the AI like a translator, right? So you have all the access, all the tools, everything, and you are able to be on an even playing field because you're able to have this stuff, whereas before you may not have. What if you have no clue of how to start? Then welcome, you're in the right place. Most people don't have a clue of where to start. That's why they're here. Right? If you don't, and honestly, if you're brand new, don't know where to start, or having doubt or whatever, we actually prefer a lot of those people sign up because it's easier. It's a lot easier to like draft something on a new slate than it is to try and, reverse a lot of bad habits.
Yeah.
So if you don't know where to start, then you're in the right place, because let us, and we're not trading for you or anything like that, but let us show you the right way to go about it. Let us give you the tools to put in your tool chest. Right? When people have a certain amount of experience and they're just like, oh, I think my issue is X, when really their issue could be Y, it's a little bit harder because people are naturally stubborn. Mike himself, took a minute for the AI for him to be like, hey, this is something I can really use.
For sure.
But to answer the question, and I'm going to hop off. I just really wanted to answer that question was, this isn't about competing with a hedge fund or competing with a company like OpenAI. We use a fine-tuned version of an OpenAI model. We're not looking to, all of our data is through partnerships with other people. It's not about creating a data algorithm, an AI model, all these little catchphrases or an algo. It's not about that. It's about taking all of these tools, putting them in a place that is able to consider you, your experience, your current state, where you're at, how much time you have, don't have, money you have, don't have, your history, everything. Take all of those tools and with a natural language conversation, give you the best possible chance to make money on a large scale. That is what this does. All right. So that's it. Thanks.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah. And God lives in me. Welcome to the stream. I see, appreciate the, participating in the question. Like I said, it definitely is the best place for you to be. And I saw one of our other members was just commenting actually to you. I think it was Sherry says, I'm 60 years old now. I've been with True Trading Group for almost 4 years. I knew nothing when I joined. This is the best place I found, and I've learned so much. That's from Sherry. And then you have another comment that actually just came through from Aga Fox. Aga Fox says, TTG is the real deal. Sincerity and professionalism is the motto here. We are family. We support each other without any judgment. Faye Doctor, nice. I'm 53 today. Happy birthday, brother. That's awesome, man. Happy birthday. Say, Mari actually wished me a happy birthday. That's amazing. Jennifer Blanchard also says, hey, look at it. I love this. Members, look at it. This is fantastic. So you have God Lives in, username God Lives in Me just was the one saying, hey, what if you don't know where to start? Members are responding. Look at this. Jennifer Blanchard says, God Lives in Me. I didn't have a clue either. They have so many resources in our video library. There are answers and classes for everything. And the AI Mari that we have can make podcasts for you for lessons. I mean, look at this. You're seeing members actually commenting. This is amazing. I love this. This is why I love the community that we have built here at True Trading, because it's real people helping real people. It's real people sharing their experiences, sharing their initial struggles, and then where they are now and how they've been able to succeed. I think that's really, really important. I think it's important to have that type of camaraderie. I think it's important to have that type of support system when you guys are doing this. So it's like the thing about TTG is great. Like you get the support from all the tools, the resource, the technology, the AI, but then you also get the support from the community. And there's no better combination, I think, when you combine the community that is True Trading Group with the technology that is TTG. I just think there's not a better place. There's not a better place for retail traders to succeed. And that is the reason why so many of our members do. And again, by succeed, I don't mean just wake up and feel good in the morning. I mean, they're actually making money. And in case you guys missed it when I asked before, I'll just ask one more time. And I still have all my trade ideas for this week that I want to get into with you guys. But one more time, members, if you guys are making money with TTG, type the number 1 inside of chat right now. Just one more time, I'll ask that question. Then we're gonna get moving on how we're gonna make some money this week. But I really want to drive that point home. That doesn't matter where you are right now. Doesn't matter how intimidated you feel. Doesn't matter how much money you've lost in the past. When you guys decide to make the commitment and you make the decision to join True Trading Group, it all starts today. Honestly, it all starts today, because prior to this, you didn't have access to even a fraction of the things that you guys are going to have access to when you join True Trading Group's platform. There's a reason why all these companies work with us. There's a reason why we have partnerships with them. There's a reason why we have 10,000 members from all over the globe. And there's a reason why all these people and members are sitting here talking to you, telling you that they're making money. It's time for you guys to find out for yourselves why that is. Okay. Is TradingView part of TTG? So you guys, you get the TradingView premium charting software when you guys join True Trading Group. It is one of the tools and resource that you guys have access to when you guys join. I would never have made it anywhere else, and I can say that honestly because I had bought into several others before I found TTG 3 years ago. That's amazing. That's fantastic. I love that. All right, great. All right, let's take things on over to the charts, guys. Let's talk about what we're expecting here from this week, because like I said, it's gonna be a big week, man, with this Jackson Hole meeting. You know, the markets have been in straight and melt up phase. You know, we had a pullback here after the Fed meeting, and then after the Fed meeting, and then after Microsoft, Meta had their earnings report. Then you had some inflation data. I'm sorry, this is the labor report. The weak labor report caused a big gap down in the markets, and the market just ate it up. You know, it's still a buy the dip type of market, and the market just continued the rally after this gap down. You know, I do think that this week in particular, I think you're going to be looking at a support level that is going to be established on any pullback test of around 639, 640. Okay. 639, 640 is really where I'm looking for that support level to kind of form. And if you guys take a look, it's going to be right against that prior high. That's the day that Microsoft and Meta reported earnings. And then now you have the 9 EMA, which is this light blue line that you guys see on my screen that also lines up right inside of that area. I also want to do it real quick. I haven't done this yet. I'm just doing this right now for the first time. Yeah, there it is. So then now we just want to draw out a Fibonacci retracement level, and I draw a Fibonacci retracement level out from the recent low, that pivot anchor low from the labor report, and we draw it up to the current high, and your 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level lines up right around 640 and a half. And that can give us a nice little support zone, as you guys can see right in here. So this is the support level that I'm going to be looking for here coming into this week. Now, any technical analysis that I'm giving you right now is a pre-Jackson Hole speech analysis. Okay, my analysis will be entirely different once I know what Jerome Powell says during his speech. Whether or not Jerome Powell says, he's not going to say that, he's not going to come out and say it, but whether Jerome Powell insists that they are going to cut rates at the September meeting and show that he was a little bit more concerned with the weak labor report than they are the hot inflation number that came out, or if Jerome Powell comes out and says that they're not necessarily ready to cut rates in September because they are concerned about the inflation reports that we just got. So depending on which angle he takes and the tone that he takes and what he talks about more is going to determine what this market's going to do. If it sounds like the Fed is more focused on, hey, I really don't like the inflation number that we just got, then the markets are going to go down because then that's going to make the markets believe that it's possible the Fed is not going to cut rates at the September meeting. And right now, the market has about an 86 to 90% chance priced in of probability of a rate cut at that September meeting. If Jerome Powell comes out and kind of gives that green light, then the markets will continue that little melt up. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking about over the next week. Now, in September, I have a whole other thought process and what I think is going to happen in September. A whole other thought process on why I think that is. Okay, now, I'm not going to get into September. I'm not getting into what I think is going to happen in September. That we'll talk about on another live stream in about a week or two. Okay. You have been emailing me for a while now, and I said I would not unsubscribe because something told me I shouldn't. That's funny. Well, I got to tell you, God lives in me. I am glad that you did not unsubscribe. Something told you that you shouldn't. I love that. I really do. And now here you are on this live stream. And I honestly just went through like that whole kind of, a little kind of like an emotional speech there about, you know, people becoming successful and improving their lives and really investing in themselves and getting access to the tools and resources and getting an advantage and an edge and being part of a community. And I feel like it's not a coincidence that today's the day that you've been getting these emails for a while from us. And I don't think it's a coincidence that today's the day that you decided to hop on. I don't think it's a coincidence. And I think you and I are kind of on the same wavelength with that. So I appreciate you being here. And that goes to everybody else that's not a member. And you guys are here, whether you were suggested to us from YouTube or a friend told you about us, or you got an email from us or a text message, whatever. Welcome. So getting back to the charts here real quick, briefly, guys, you know, I think that's going to be our area of support that we can focus on here for this week. You have a couple of earnings reports this week. It's not like an NVIDIA or anything like that, but, you know, you have Palo Alto, you have Walmart and Target, which are big. That's going to give us a really big, you know, kind of view into the consumer. So that can also be a little bit market moving as well. But the real big catalyst this week is when Jerome Powell speaks. So that's going to be our support level. Resistance level, I don't necessarily really have one. Resistance level is just kind of, it's just a float to the upside. I don't necessarily have an upside target if things go well this week as far as catalysts go. But downside targets for me, your first support level, which is a minor support level, is going to be 642.5. Your secondary support level, and this is the SPY I'm talking about right now. So again, primary support level, which is a minor level, is 642.5. Your secondary level, which is a little bit more significant of a level, is 640. Once you break underneath the 640 support level, and that level is about $1 wide. So the support stretches probably 639, 640. That $1 area, that'll be your secondary support level that I think is the more significant support level for the week. If that level is broken, the downside, I think, would take you probably at least into the low 630s. And I think you would probably have to be targeting later this week for a move that takes you down into this region you guys see here. I think that would be the area that you should expect us to get down to if, you know, Jerome Powell insinuates that they're not ready to cut rates at the September meeting. I think that's the target that we have to be looking at here coming into this week, and be prepared for that following his speech. Okay, because that's my target if things don't go well when Jerome Powell begins that speech at Jackson Hole. Okay, so those are my thoughts. That's what we're looking at there with regards to the overall market. Okay, I want to briefly touch on crypto because you have a potential of a failed all-time high break that happened here this week on Bitcoin. And I just want to keep an eye on a potential little double top up here, right? You guys can just see this is actually just this is just BTC to USD. It's not exactly the price of Bitcoin, but I just want to show you guys here on my chart. You can see this little double top area here. And I just want to be mindful of this double top. Okay, I want to be mindful of that double top because if that really does start to give you a significant pullback, I would target MicroStrategy for a short. MicroStrategy is at a major support level. Okay, we actually caught a really nice long trade on MicroStrategy back in June when this level was tested. My TC members, you guys probably remember, we caught, okay, after MicroStrategy bottomed here, we were able to capitalize. Okay, we were able to capitalize on that rally that happened there in the first week of July. And now you're back into that support level. This is a big support level, guys. You guys can see here. I'll just draw it out for you. Okay, so here you see all of the support that you had back at the end of May and then June. And then there's the end of July. And then here we are literally just on Friday on MicroStrategy. And then right underneath that, you see this yellow line. That's the 200-day moving average, is that yellow line. That line is very, very significant, okay? Because if you look back here to the left, I want you to really follow me now. Follow me now on this chart. Every single time for the last several years that MicroStrategy has touched that yellow line, it has bounced. Okay, look at April. Look at March. Look at February. Then go all the way back to September of last year. Then go back to August of last year. Then go all the way back to January of last year. Then go all the way back to October of 2023. Then go to August of 2023. Then go to June of 2023. Then go to May of 2023. Every single time that MicroStrategy has touched that yellow line, it has moved higher. And now that is coming up and is lining up dead even with this structured support level at 360. Now, MicroStrategy is a more volatile stock. So you're talking about a little bit of a wider support level. I'd say 355 to 360. That's going to be that support zone there for MicroStrategy. A break of that level would be very significant. Now, I'll tell you this right now. I don't think it's wise to go short MicroStrategy into this level. I think the best bet, and I don't know if this trade's even going to trigger, but I want to bring this level to your attention, because if this level's broken, I will then jump on this trade for a short and probably ride MicroStrategy to the downside in the month of September. Okay, as I think Bitcoin will probably pull back in the month of September too, depending on what happens with the overall market. And again, I'll tell you what I think about the overall markets as we get closer to the month of September. But if this level gets broken, I think you just wait for that level to get cleared out and then short a bounce back into it and then let it roll itself to the downside. Something like this, right? So like break it, bounce, and then let that level that is now support, let it then act as resistance and then drop back to the downside. And that would be the way that I think you should go about trying to catch that trade. I think if you were to take the trade short, in here, I think you run a real serious risk of a false breakdown and then this thing just jamming it back to the north side with you might get it like an extended tail to the downside. And then the stock holds and gives you a candle that looks something like this. And then it just bounces, right? Which is what it has done the last 30 times. I don't know, I didn't count the exact number, but I'm exaggerating a little bit. But the amount of times that the stock has touched that yellow line, it can very easily just give you some type of price action that looks like this. So that's why I think shorting it in there is very, very risky. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. If that level breaks, you have an easy move to 340. 340 would be your next support level. And I'll draw 340 right here. 340 was this resistance level. It's like 340, 343, 342. You can see some resistance right there in February and March. So if that level breaks, it's an easy $15 drop, $10 to $15 drop. But I think if it does break that level, I think that this support level, even that doesn't hold. I think you probably get to 320 over the course of a couple of weeks. So there's plenty of meat on that bone that you do not need to be early to that trade. I think being early on this trade is risky because of how significant of a support level it is. I don't think that level is going to break easily. So wait for the break to be confirmed and then short a bounce into it. Let it then become resistance. That I think would be a much easier trade. Okay, I think that's a much easier trade. I think it's far less stress. Okay, so that's one thing to keep your eye on throughout the course of the next couple of weeks. Okay, then we've got, let me just give you guys some updates on 2 positions that I am already in. I always like to update you guys on positions I'm already in, and then we go into the positions that I think that I'm probably going to be getting into this week. One of them is a stock I shorted on Friday. It's AMAT. Okay, we executed a beautiful trade on this AMAT on Friday, and I'll just draw out for you guys. I'll draw out the setup here. Okay, now you can see, well, you know, if you can't see it, that's why I'm showing it to you. Okay, you're going to see a resistance level here. This is called a gap entry. So you can see you had a big gap down the prior day. The high of that gap down then becomes gap entry. And then you pulled in to test that level after breaking back above it. And then it became support. Then the stock rallied. Then you had earnings on AMAT. The earnings were bad. You gapped underneath that level on Friday. Okay, Friday morning. This was Thursday after the close when they reported their earnings. And then what you will see here is this yellow line and this purple line on my screen that line up right in that exact same price area. The yellow line is a 200-day moving average. The purple or pink line is the 100-day moving average. And the game plan here on Friday was a bounce into that level. Now it should be resistance, right? It was support. Now that you gapped underneath it with earnings, any bounce back into it should be resistance, okay? That was the idea. So let's go to an intraday chart. I'll just show you the actual, the price action from the day. Okay, so here's the price action so here's the resistance level. There's that line that I drew, right? That's the same line from the daily chart. I'll go back. See, this is the daily chart. This is every candle represents one day. Now I'm going to go into a 3-minute chart. That line is still there. And then you can see we kind of bumped up into that level, and then we rejected off of it. So I went ahead and I shorted AMAT right there. Okay, so I have a short position that I still am holding. I did take some profits off on Friday because the stock really rolled over. Okay, but I went ahead and I took a position short. Members jumped into the 165 strike, August 22nd put option. Okay, I shorted the stock there just around 166 and a quarter, and the stock just totally rolled over then later in the day. Right, so you can see how we totally just kind of rolled it over. So what I did as we rolled this to the downside, I took some profit here and I took some profit as we broke that low, and I'm still holding a portion of the position. My next take profit is going to be that pre-market low from the that earnings gap down. That is 160. And then if you break 160, my target then, I'll take you guys back to the daily chart to show you my target from there, is 155. And 155, right? You guys can see support, 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 support. Prior to that, resistance, resistance, right? You guys can see this, right? So this is how we identify support and resistance. I'm on Coinbase and have some XRP. I'm self-taught, but truly a rookie. I did learn how to set limits, and I've been playing around in Coinbase Advanced, so I'm glad to be here. I love that. We actually just were trading some Ethereum last week. Obviously, Ethereum was going nuts, right? Ethereum was going nuts last week, so we actually traded some Ethereum. We traded the ETHU. ETHU is actually a double leverage ETF on Ethereum. So this is not actually a crypto. ETHU is an equity. It's an ETF, and it just follows Ethereum, but it doubles the move. So if Ethereum is up 2%, then this tries to be up 4%. If it's down 3%, this will be down 6%. Okay, so it's a really great trading vehicle. Recently, with the rally that we've had in Ethereum, the volatility, the liquidity has been through the roof on this thing. So glad to see that you're into crypto. All right. So just going back again to AMAT. So if we can break this 160, right, which is that pre-market low from that Friday, if we can break that, 155 is my target. Right. And you guys can see now the level there. That's why 155 is my target. So trying to see if I can get this thing down there a little bit further. that is AMAT. Again, this is a position that I am already in, and I've already taken profit off, but I'm still holding some. The other position that I am still in, I've taken profit off, but I'm still in, is TTD. Now, this is a very similar scenario, okay? TTD had a gap down, okay, after earnings. It was a horrific gap down, and the earnings were just so terrible that a lot of times when you have a stock that has been trading in an uptrend for the last couple of months, obviously that means people are stepping in and buying the stock ahead of its earnings report. And the earnings report comes out, and it's so incredibly shockingly bad. It usually does not recover the next day or two, okay, after that gap down. Because usually the people that had bought that stock over the last couple of months, it takes several days for the selling of those positions to get unwound. And the stock usually trades lower for a few days, sometimes even a couple of weeks. So I jumped on this thing short, okay, a little more than a week ago, right here on the 11th. And I shorted this at $55 and 57 cents. And the stock has rolled all the way down to $50. Members jumped on the $50 or the 50. It actually depends on, but some members took different strike prices. But some traded the recent expiration from this Friday, which that means they're out of the position. Other people are in this Friday coming up expiration, the 22nd, and those people are still in that position. And I'm just looking for us to get down a little bit further. I'm looking to get under 50. My target on this is like $48. Okay, so I'm just trying to get back down to this support level from April. And I think that we can just kind of fade this out here just a little bit. And as I kind of zoom this in here a little bit, I want to show you guys how you have this little support level for just these couple of days. You have this bounce back day on Friday. And if tomorrow we do not get back above 54, this is easily going to 48. So you saw after that gap down on earnings, you're at support. 4 consecutive days of support around 52.5. And then on Thursday, that support level you see here broke. On Friday, you bounced back into it and you were unable to get back above it, right? So you see on Friday, you tried to get back above it and you could not. So what I'm looking for out of this thing for tomorrow is something that looks like that. Or Monday into Tuesday. I'm looking for something that looks like that. Maybe tomorrow. And then Tuesday, something that looks like that. Okay? So that's the price action I'm looking for us to get there on TTD. Now, again, I'm short from 55, 57. Stock is currently 52. I've already taken profits off on this a few times, but I still do have some of this position short. Okay? That is TTD. Does anybody have any questions at all before I continue? Anybody have any questions? Anything at all? Anything you want me to take a look at real quick before I get into my trade ideas for the week? Because I can get into, I want to start going into some of my trade ideas for the week. Let me start going into some of them. So what I'm looking at here, Zscaler. This is a trade idea that may not happen this week, but if it does, I'm on it. I'm looking for a long on Zscaler, ticker symbol ZS, in the low 260s if you get there. Now, the stock is currently 275. So you got some, that's what I'm saying. It might not happen this week, but you'll see resistance there at 260. Resistance there at 260. Then you had the gap up after this was an earnings release in May, gap up and exploded. Now you've been slowly pulling back into that level. And what do we have here? See that purple pink line? See that purple pink line? That's the 100-day moving average. Okay? That also lines up now at that level. So what I'm looking for here is if over the course of the next week or two, Zscaler was to drop down into this level, I think from that level, I think it bounces. Okay. I think that's a good enough support level that we can go long in that area. Okay. So this is Z-scaler. So we're going to keep this one here up on watch. All right. Again, that level is 260. I'll probably take the long in the low 260s, maybe like 262-ish or so. Okay. With a stop loss underneath 260. All right. But I like that. I like that idea. I think, that breakout was a strong one back in May. And I think that that's one that we're going to look at here for maybe not, like I said, maybe this doesn't happen this week. Maybe it's next week, but I'm going to focus on that one. Okay. Now, next, I'm going to say something. It's kind of risky, but I think it's going to trigger. I think that we are going to get a decent short on the nuclear names. I know that's like, no, and I know a lot of people in here are probably like, Mike, don't say that. I know a lot of people are long those stocks. They've been tremendous runners, but I'm seeing signs that these stocks are running out of momentum and that they're running out of steam. If we just take a look at some of the leaders like a CEG, CEG is one of the leaders in this space. They have the agreement with Microsoft. You see that prior all-time high. Okay, that was right here. There was that previous all-time high. You tried to break it, right, 2 weeks ago, and you couldn't do it. Now you're rolling back to the downside here, and you got this little support level at the 50-day. But I kind of feel like we might roll over here a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to be watching this CEG as kind of like my sentiment gauge within some of these nuclear names. 320 is a solid support level. All right. 320 is a solid support level. But if you get underneath 320, your next support level is down here. It's down around like 304, 305. So what I'm going to do is this little level that we have here at like 320. And honestly, you almost have like a little head and shoulders. It's sloppy, but you even have like, you can say that's your left shoulder. You can say this is your right shoulder. This isn't the cleanest of patterns, and then here's your head. And then here's your neckline, right? And if this level breaks, right? If this level breaks, then I think CEG falls. I think it falls back down into this support level that you guys see here. So I'm going to be watching CEG this week to see if we break that level, right? If we break 320 on CEG, I'm going to target like 305. Then after CEG, we're going to move on over to OKLO. Similar type of setup. OKLO has a massive support level here in around $70. Now you can see previous resistance, you broke above it, support. If, just like CEG, if this level breaks, I think you have downside. And my target is going to be $60. Okay. You can see support. That'll be the area that we can target. Now, you should be taking profits off around 65. This blue line's the 50-day moving average, right? So, you always, want to take some profits off whenever you encounter like a major moving average like that. You never know. You can always bounce off a major moving average like that, right? So as you fall down into here, right, I'm going to look for that to be an area for a take profit, but see if we can get into like maybe the mid to low 60s. And then, speaking of head and shoulders, this one looks a little bit different. This is left shoulder. This is right shoulder. Here's the head. And here's your neckline. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. I'm seeing these stocks kind of look to me a little bit like they're running out of steam a little bit. All right, looks like they're running out of steam just a little bit here. And I think if these support levels break, you might get some profit taking that takes those stocks further to the downside. So those are two stocks that are on watch for us here for short setups. this week. All right. Then I want to go over to Meta. So Meta failed to make the new all-time high on Friday. So we kind of traded higher here during the week, right? And you put in the top here. And on Friday, we ran up into that level and it rejected, right? You can see how we were unable to break above it, right? Okay. So you see how, we failed to break above that level there on Friday. Now, Meta is relatively a stronger stock than the rest of your mega cap tech. And it was relatively strong on Friday when we were, the NASDAQ was red, the S&P was red, Meta was green. Okay. Meta never really went red on Friday, even though the markets did. Now, let me show you this market first. Let me go to the S&P. Okay. The S&P, see this dotted line? The dotted line is the prior day's close. So if you go underneath it, that means we went red. In the very morning, in the early morning at around 9:45 a.m. Eastern, the S&P went red. Then let's go to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was red the entire day. The S&P was red the entire day. Meta, you can see the dotted line. Meta never went red. Meta was green the entire day. And here's the attempt at the all-time high. You tried to break the all-time high and then failed. But it was relatively strong compared to the overall market and the NASDAQ. Knowing that, coming into this week, if we have a situation where the market begins to move back to the upside, I want to go back and look at Meta for the long. So if we have a situation where Meta, let's say Meta, I'll just give you a scenario. If you wake up tomorrow morning and Meta is 792 and Meta's right there, I'm telling you right now, I'm going long. I'm going long. I'm looking for Meta to go to $800. If I wake up and Meta's sitting right there where you see that block. Because if Meta gaps up again and shows me relative strength again, then I'm going to want to go long and look for a break and a run to the all-time high and look for us to go to 800. 800, a beautiful whole number. And I think it's going to just act as, an area, it's going to act as a magnet. So I want to keep that on watch for the long if the markets do, push higher. Because if you gap up, I think you'll very quickly negate the failed tail. And I think you've got a candle that looks something like this on Monday. All right. So there we have it, folks. There are top trade ideas for the week. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? When I talk to Mari, she gives me Mike's analysis. Go figure. Yeah, that's kind of the point, right? Like that is, my fingerprints are all over the AI, guys. They're all over the AI. My analysis and strategies and everything else is all over the AI. Is there a level you would be comfortable buying into these stocks if you don't have them for the long-term portfolio? I assume, Mike, that you're talking about the nuclear stocks. The level that I would buy these stocks so I don't own OKLO. So I do own VST, right? I do own VST. I own VST from the 90s. And the stock's currently, 200. So obviously doing, up 100% on that position, doing very nice. But I don't own the small ones. So like VST, CEG, those are the bigger ones. I own that. But I don't own OKLO and I don't own SMR. I don't own NNE. in my long. These are the smaller nuclear names. I don't own those in my long-term portfolio. If I wanted to buy them, I'd say the place for OK low, I'd say in the 50s. Mike, I'd say in the 50s, I think is a spot where you can grab some in the 50s. And then eventually, if you ever get back to this 200-day moving average, to this yellow line, now obviously it's sloping upward, right? The 200-day is sloping upward, so it's going to continue to climb. So if this continues to climb, that could work out perfectly if I'm right, and this is running out of steam, and you're getting ready for a pullback. That pullback could take you down, okay, into the 50s, and then this yellow line can work its way up, and they could meet. And that could be a beautiful spot for you to then buy some in the long-term portfolio, because this yellow line, right? Look at the support level that you had here. That's the 200-day moving average. Look at that support. We got to pay attention to that. That's a very significant support area, right? It's a very significant support area. So the next time that we get into that yellow line, I got to say, let's look for that to be a support level. And that all lines up right in the 50s. So I'd say if you don't own OKLO and you want to buy some for the long-term portfolio, I think the 50s are a decent area. Do you think spot is going down? No, I do not. I mean, there's nothing really here that looks like I would say the stock is going down. I actually traded Spotify to the short side after their earnings, made some good money on it too. But then the company announced they were raising their prices, and then that was the gap up day. So the sentiment around the stock changed following the news about their prices. So I caught this move, right? I caught that move actually to the short side. But then the company came out with news that they were raising their prices, and the stock gapped up. So see this big gap up? That was the news that they came out. They're raising their prices, and that just kind of changed everything on the short, because I was short, and that was like, okay, that news kind of changes things. It changes the sentiment, and once you put in this higher low, that was it. That was okay. That's it. Like now, there's no way that looks like a short anymore. And the stock ever since then has just kind of climbed higher. So I exited that position a couple of weeks ago, made some money on the trade. It wasn't like a monster home run because I was still in the position when the news came out. But we still made some money on it. So I can't complain. But I do not think that the stock is going down now. No, not after that. UNH after Buffett bought as a long-term hold. Chris, I think UNH, I own UNH in my long-term portfolio. I've owned it for a long time. It's a sizable position too. I think United Health will be just fine. I just want everyone to understand and to realize, though, that when Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway buys a position, they're buying it with the intention of holding it for years. So if you step in and buy UNH tomorrow at 306 and in a month it's at 270, please don't freak out. Warren Buffett bought this position at $311.87 in like June, and the stock went all the way down to 240 after he bought it. So again, keep that in mind. But I think that there's room for United Health to bounce here. They're still the top. They're still the largest health insurer in the world. They're still the top dog in that industry. Yes, they have had a lot of issues, right? They've had a lot of issues. Negative news after negative news after negative news, and what's going on with Medicare and Medicaid billings, and that's has hurt them as well. They have a lot of problems. I'm not gonna lie, but if Warren Buffett sees that as all that negativity, Warren Buffett sees that as a potential opportunity, then he obviously believes that the company is going to get past all of those things, and the stock is on sale right now because of the issues that it has. But he's confident that it's going to resolve those issues and eventually trade higher. So I think United Health is going to be just fine. I don't think it's going to just rip back to 500 quickly. I think it's going to probably trade in the 300s for a while, the high 200s, the 300s. I think it's going to probably be in there for a while. But I do think that the stock will be fine. Walmart and Target. You know, Joan, that's actually Walmart and Target actually have earnings coming up, and these are going to be really important. I own Walmart. I don't own Target. And Walmart has done incredibly well over the last couple of years. Target has been a dumpster fire. Okay, this stock has gotten obliterated since 2021. This was a $260 stock. It's now down to 103. Now, for comparison, look at Walmart's chart. In 2021, Walmart was a $50 stock. It is now a $100 stock. So, night and day. The one thing that does have me a little concerned here on Walmart is a very strong double top at 105 all-time high. Okay, that is a little concerning with that double top. But they have earnings coming out. We have to see what the earnings are. You know, I don't usually, you know, I don't ever position myself, Joan, for earnings. Like, I don't get into a trade and just kind of cross my fingers and like hope the earnings are good and the stock's going to go higher, because I think playing earnings like that is I just think you're gambling. I just think that you don't really have an advantage or an edge. There have been plenty of situations where the company beats on earnings, but maybe their guidance isn't that great and the stock tanks. Even though you were right, they beat on earnings, but their guidance wasn't good. There's been situations where a company beat on earnings and they raised guidance. They beat on guidance and the stock still went down. Case in point, Netflix. Netflix actually, it's recovered over the last 2 weeks, but see this whole move right here? That was after Netflix reported earnings, and their earnings were amazing. The stock went down 5% the day after they reported earnings, and the earnings were amazing. They top and bottom line beat. They raised guidance for the quarter. They raised guidance for the year. Stock still went down 5%. So if you sat there and you're like, hey, I think Netflix's earnings are going to be great, I'm going to buy call options, you lost 100% of your investment, right? So I don't like getting into a position before the company announces earnings. I like to let the company announce earnings, and now I know what my fundamental catalyst is, good or bad. I can see the reaction that the stock had initially off the print, and then I can go ahead and I could place a trade then from there. So those are my thoughts there. My thoughts on Sunrun. Yeah, there was some news there on Friday with some of these. There was some news that we had with regard to some of these solar names. And they all ripped. They all ripped on Friday. Now, I don't know, Lisa, if I trust this move. I will tell you this. These stocks might continue higher if Jerome Powell signals they're ready for rate cuts in September. But if Jerome Powell sounds like they're not going to cut rates in September, then these stocks are most likely going back down. So just be mindful of that. Now, Jerome Powell doesn't speak until the end of the week. So if you're long on some of these solar names and they continue during the week, ride it. But I would, lock in profits going into that speech. Okay. I would say lock in profits going into that speech. You have a nice level here around 13 and a quarter on Sunrun. Okay. Now, if you guys wonder where that level comes from, you can see previous support back here in October, and then you'll have resistance level that you have here in May, right? And then you broke above that on Friday. So ideally, any pullback that you get on Sunrun, right, back into 13 and a quarter, ideally, you would want that to become support and then see the stock then continue and trade higher from there. So that's the level to look at there for Sunrun. One of the strongest solar name, the leader in the space, is First Solar. That's FSLR. Now, FSLR had a resistance level here at around 200 that it popped its head above, but I'm just cautious here because there's still so much resistance here on First Solar. I think that I'd say 210 and then 220 are your next resistance levels, right? 210, 220, those are your resistance levels. Look for 200 support. Okay, look for 200 support and then look for continuation to 210 and then eventually maybe 220. But that would be kind of it from there. Okay. You also have a very sloppy head and inverse head and shoulders. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll draw it out. It's very sloppy, but left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then here's your neckline, right? Sloppy, but it's there. So if you get like a little pullback back into it and then it bounces back up from here, that could give you a continuation move. So honestly, like FSLR pulls back into 200 or the high 190s and then gets back above 200, I would then take that long. And I would, if that coincides with Jerome Powell saying that they're ready to cut rates in September, then I would get long FSLR. I would stay long FSLR into like 220. Having a beautiful swing trade set up there if those things kind of align together. Robinhood, great question. Now, what I'm going to tell you on Robinhood might actually be surprising, but I actually think that Robinhood is going to give you a failed new all-time high attempt. And let me show you what I think is going to happen. So here's your all-time high. What I think is going to happen is I think Robinhood is going to do something that looks like this. I think you're going to push up towards 117, 118, and then you're going to do that. I kind of feel like you might try to break through that high and then fail to do so. That's why I want to pay attention also to Bitcoin and see if Bitcoin double tops in those low 120s, because maybe that could also be a catalyst. Robinhood has kind of found itself a little bit correlated to crypto. It's not like a MicroStrategy or Coinbase, but it has worked its way into it's gotten lumped into kind of the crypto pile. A lot of people thought Robinhood was going to be added to the S&P 500, and it hasn't been. And that's a part of the reason why the stock had really rallied so much. They also have reported some really great earnings over the last, couple months. And it's been a monster. It's been a freight train. But I'm just cautious of that all-time high. So, it might be something similar to like what you saw happen Friday on like Meta. See how Meta tried to push through and then failed and dropped back underneath it. I just feel like you might have something similar happen there. BMNR, great one, Justin. Great one. We absolutely murdered this trade. So, guys, we caught this move on BMNR in chat 2 weeks ago. Was a monster trade. So, again, just a huge shout out and a big congratulations to members of TTG that capitalized on this one with me. This is one you guys could have even got on just from being on the live stream, but this was something that we jumped in at in the 40s and just rode this thing up into the 60s. It was a big trade for us. We got like a 7 or 8 to 1 on our risk reward, which is just fantastic. And now you're going through a little bit of a pause and a consolidation. BMNR is going to be tied to Ethereum now. So just like MicroStrategy built up like that Bitcoin treasury, and MicroStrategy would trade alongside Bitcoin, BMNR is going to trade alongside Ethereum. So Ethereum still trading well above 4,000. We kind of broke into like the mid 4s last week. We're still trading above 4. But if Ethereum goes higher, you look for BMNR to go higher. I like the support level here in the mid 50s. I do think we can pop this thing back up into the mid 60s. Keep eyes, mid 40s. I like that support level. NUE and Lennar, two that are Lennar is right from Warren Buffett. Now, this is similar to what I said about the solar stocks, right? So you had DHI, which is DR Horton, And then you had Lennar, which is LEN. Now, these are housing builders. These are home builders. Okay. Now, these stocks will be directly affected by whether or not Jerome Powell signals that they're ready to cut rates. These stocks are rallying higher because the markets are now pricing in rate cuts for September. Okay, ever since the market started pricing in rate cuts for September, these interest rate sensitive stocks started moving. The home builders started moving. Rocket started moving, right? Interest rates, mortgages, housing market, right? These stocks all start moving. If Jerome Powell is to come out at Jackson Hole and say inflation is we're worried about inflation. We don't think it's ready yet to cut rates, not in those words, but those stocks are going to go back down. Okay. You'll see Lennar back to 126. You'll see, DR Horton back to 155, right? So you'll see those stocks pull back if that's the case. They are very sensitive to interest rates. So please make sure that if you're in those positions, okay, if you're in those positions, make sure you know exactly what happens with his speech at Jackson Hole. Dilution thoughts on BMNR? Well, so here's the thing. VJ. The dilution is a little bit different than traditional dilution when you think of it, because they're doing the exact same thing that MicroStrategy does. MicroStrategy dilutes, they raise capital. With that capital, they go and they buy Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes up, the valuation of MicroStrategy as an entity goes up because of how much Bitcoin they own. So the stock then goes up. BMNR, they're doing the same thing. They're going to do offerings. They're going to raise capital. They're going to take that capital. They're going to buy more Ethereum. If Ethereum goes higher, you can see the stock move higher. So you're going to see a direct correlation there with Ethereum. Now, offering after offering after offering, as soon as Ethereum cools off and gives you a pullback, like if Ethereum, for example, was to break back under 4K, I think 4K was a pretty big psychological level for it to break above last week. If Ethereum was to drop back underneath it, I would expect BMNR to then really fade. And the dilution would be the driving force kind of behind that fade. But if Ethereum was to go to 5,000, then you bet your butt this thing's going higher. You think Buffett's announcement today indicates that he's confident in a rate cut? Actually, no, Yusuf. And let me explain. So here's what Buffett's confident of. Buffett is not confident that the Fed is going to cut rates in September. Buffett is confident that the Fed is going to be cutting rates soon. Warren Buffett has an extremely long time horizon. He's not going to care if the Fed does not cut rates in September, because they're definitely going to be cutting rates in 2026 regardless. And Warren Buffett holds for many, many years. So he's looking at it as we are about to embark on a rate cutting cycle. He's not saying it's going to start September. He's saying it might start September, but if it doesn't start in September, I don't really care. So always keep in mind the time horizon of the person that you are following. If you do not have that same time horizon, then you can't really take it. So just something to think about. But it's whether they cut in September or not is going to have a big effect on the market and a big effect on the near-term price of these stocks. But Warren Buffett doesn't necessarily care about the near-term immediate price movement of these stocks. Any other questions? You guys are asking some great questions, by the way. What do I think about Intel? That's a good one. I mean, listen, I hate Intel. I don't own it. I, really didn't have any intention of owning it. I have been very bullish on AMD for the last several years because, AMD was really just completely dominating Intel and just stealing market share away from Intel. This has been a phenomenal performer for me in my long-term portfolio. I still own it, and I'm going to continue to own it for a long time. Years from now, I'll still be a shareholder of AMD. So, we'll still be a shareholder many years from now. I would much rather own Intel, own AMD than own Intel. Now, the news that just came out this past week about the U.S. government maybe taking a stake in Intel. Usually when a company gets nationalized, stock prices go down. This is not the same as a company getting nationalized. You are, if the United States government comes in and takes a stake in Intel, it's really to ensure that foundry business of like homegrown, U.S. semiconductors, chips, and everything else to kind of protect that side of the industry and the AI race, the AI arms race. But I think that the U.S. government as a part owner opens up like an unlimited CapEx spend for the company. I still probably am not going to buy it, but the support level down there at 19 is massive. And with this news, it's like, why not? Why not take a shot? Your risk. Whatever price you buy Intel, this line you see on my screen, that's your risk. Look at that support level. That is your risk. And that is support back from 2010, 2011, 2012, 2024, 2025. That's why I hate this stock so much. If you bought this stock 15 years ago, you are break even. And it's a semiconductor. That's what is just mind-boggling about Intel. But listen, if you've ever wanted to buy Intel, like if you were bullish on Intel previously, then I think you have to buy it now. So if you were like a believer in Intel and you're like, I like Intel, I think they're going to do great, and that's well before any of this happened. I think now, if the U.S. government takes a stake, I actually think it's not necessarily a negative. I think that it could potentially give Intel a lot of protections. It can give Intel unlimited CapEx potential, which is capital expenditures. That's the amount of money that the company would invest in, like, future, long dated assets and future revenue streams and everything else. So I think that could be, that would be a reason for you guys to step in and then say, okay, you know what, I'll buy some. But I currently don't own it. I didn't necessarily have plans to buy more. I mean, to buy it in general, because I don't own it. All right. All right, guys. Okay. That was great. We did a really nice kind of segment there. I'm curious to see how many people do we have that are with us right now on the live stream still. How many of you are not members of True Trading Group? Can you guys do me a favor? Type the letters TTG. Type the letters TTG if you are not a member of True Trading Group, guys. Again, if you're not a member, I would just like to see how many people we have in here that are on the live. If enough people answer, I might do something real special for you guys. If there's enough people that are not members, just go ahead and type TTG for those of you that are not members of True Trading Group. All right. We got HQ, Randy, JK, God Lives in Me, Hugh Stat. Beautiful. That's what, guys, listen. Those of you that are not members of True Trading Group, here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hook you guys up here tonight for hanging out with me on this live. I've been on this live for an hour and a half. You guys are still here hanging out. Hope you guys really felt good about, getting more prepared for the week, but I'm going to do something special for you guys for hanging out with me until the very end here. The membership to True Trading Group for a year is normally $1,024. I'm going to allow the next 15 people to join for $599. Greg, what's up, brother? How are you? $599, that's it for the entire year. Go to ttgoffer.com. Okay, ttgoffer.com. This is going to be available for the next 15 people that join. Go to ttgoffer.com. Everything you guys see on that page is included in your membership for the entire year for $599. You're going to get access to Mari. Mari's the AI co-pilot for smarter trading. Okay. You're going to get Mari. That's our AI, connects your education, your charts, your news, your tools into one intelligent system. There's no complex prompts. You just ask it in plain English. Then you get fast chart analysis, market context, and personalized support. It's powered by GPT-5. You're also going to get and read. Hold on one second here. Okay. Yes, you guys are going to get access to that. You're also going to get access to our entire 18-course curriculum. That is a simplified and expanded upon version of the training that I received when I worked at the fund in New York. You're going to get a structured program that covers stocks, options, futures, and crypto. You're going to get access to our chat room with all the trade alerts. You can share with myself and the moderators live every day, right? You get the real-time alerts, answer questions, follow along with the trades that are going on during the day. You get the daily watch list for swing trading and day trading. You're going to get Benzinga Pro's real-time news feed. Okay. Trading View premium charts with real-time data. Okay. And when you guys go to ttgoffer.com, click join now on that homepage. Okay. And it'll take you to this is the checkout page. All right. So you get the daily charts, swing trading, day trading watch list, Benzinga Pro, Trading Views premium charting software. You get 2,000 hours of our on-demand video library covering different trading topics, workshops that we have held, red to green workshops, which is the first Wednesday of every month. We do this for free. Every member can, if you're having any problems, any issues, you can submit questions and topics that you need help with. And then we actually host a live workshop, live trainings with some of the mods to go over with you guys everything that you need help with. You also get the trade ideas real-time scanner as well. Okay, unusual options activity, dark pool data, short data. All this stuff, guys, is included when you guys join the annual core membership for just $599. That's it. Normally it's $1,024. The next 15 people to go to ttgoffer.com and join. You guys will be getting it for $599. Now, I also offer you guys a double your money back guarantee. So listen to me very carefully. Okay. We stand behind this platform so much, and we believe so strongly in its ability to help you reach your goals that we actually offer you a double your money back guarantee. The double your money back guarantee is simple. If your winning trades do not total the membership that you have spent to join over the course of your 12-month membership, you will qualify for double your money back. You pay $599. If your winning trades are less than $599, you guys will get $1,198 back. Now, there's some eligibility requirements. Just make sure you guys read them, go through the courses, pass the quizzes, use the platform. You can't just log in once or twice and, it didn't work for me. Okay, attend one of our study groups, log in 50 out of the 253 trading days, place real trades. You have to provide brokerage statements. and you guys will get double your money back. Okay. All right, that refund will trigger if you guys do not make back the $599, regardless of losses. You guys are qualified for the $1,198. Okay, and you got to pass the courses with an 85% grade or better. Okay, and this isn't a trick. The answers are all provided for you within the curriculum. This isn't a trick, but if you guys actually utilize the platform, do those things, and still can't make back the $599 at least once, we'll give you guys back the $1,198. Okay. Listen, bottom line, we don't want people that just log into True Trading Group one time, don't go through a single educational material, make no trades, and then just ask for a refund. That's bottom line what it comes down to. Right? We're not stupid. I'm not going to off. You're going to pay $599 now, do nothing, and then just get 100% gain on your money when you ask for the refund. If you're willing to make an effort, we are willing to put our own money on the line and put our money where our mouth is and give you guys a double your money back guarantee. Okay, so the double your money back guarantee is right there on the checkout page. Okay, go read it. Go read the details. Go read the eligibility requirements. Go read the refund trigger. And if you guys have any questions at all, if you need help with anything, you have any concerns, text us 1-888-621-2127. Again, that is 1-888-621-2127. Okay. Yes, JK, absolutely. Absolutely, JK. And I'm going to explain to you why. JK, because you can just become an asshole and blow up your whole entire account. So let's say, JK, that you make 10 winning trades by following the moderators, and then you go and then you buy put options on Tesla before earnings, and the stock gaps up on earnings, and you blow up your whole entire account. I'm not giving you double your money back. I'm not giving you double your money back if you do that. So yes, I'm not letting people just come be complete assholes and then just give them double their money. So there's your answer. I'm not going to let you just come, just complete gamble, not follow what the moderators are doing. So simple as that. So again, guys, go to ttgoffer.com. Again, that is ttgoffer.com. Everything on that page is included. What about losing trades from the moderators? We all stick to our stop losses, JK. So here's the thing. I'm not going to hold your hand. You're not a 5-year-old. You're not a 5-year-old. You're going to have to respect your stop losses the way the moderators do. If a moderator stops out of a losing trade and you don't, no one's going to help you. I've never once come on here and said, I'm going to make you millions of dollars, just follow exactly what I do. You're going to have to be an adult, and you're going to have to be responsible for your own actions and for your own decisions. And if you can't handle being responsible for your own actions, your own decisions, True Trading Group is not the place for you. True Trading Group is not the place for everybody. I'll tell you that right now. It's not. If you're ready to actually put forth a real effort and you're going to actually give this a real fair shot and you're going to really put some effort into actually becoming profitable and using the tools and resources that are at your disposal, then yes, True Trading is a place for you. But if you're looking for shortcuts and easy way outs, and you're looking for somebody else to blame if you make mistakes, then True Trading Group is not the place for you. At True Trading Group, we hold you accountable for your own actions, your own decisions. I come on here and I tell you that if you guys want to be an adult, you want a real chance, I can provide you the tools, education, the resources that you need to make 5, 6, even 7 figures. And yes, many members have. So if you just want the easy way out, like I said, JK, this is not for you. For the rest of you, you can go to ttgoffer.com, read the double your money back guarantee eligibility details, $599, $1,198. So again, that's ttgoffer.com. Everything on that page is included for $599. Send a text message to 1-888-621-2127. Again, that is 1-888-621-2127. The phone number is right down there at the bottom of your screen, guys. The phone number is right down there at the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions, text that number. It's a text message only number. It's not you can't call that number. You got to text it. Okay. So text that number if you guys have any questions. For the next 15 people that join, you guys will get it for $599. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Always Me says, many of us have been members 2, 3, 4+ years and never look back. Very true. Most of our members, honestly, are most of our members have been here for several years. I'm curious, actually. Members, how many years have you guys been a member? Those of you that are members, how many years have you been a member? Just comment in chat. How many years have you been a member? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just type the number of years you guys have been members inside of the chat. Let's look at these. 3 years, 5 years, 2.5, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2.5, 3, 2, 4, 5, 5, 1, 3, 2, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. That's what I'm talking about. You have to ask yourself. You got to ask yourself, why the hell would someone be a member of True Trading Group for 2, 3, 4, 5 years? If they're not making any money, if they're not having success, if they're not becoming better, right? Why would they stay for 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Honestly, when people ask me, oh, like, why should I join True Trading Group? What makes TTG different? Why should I join True Trading Group? It's because our members have success. John O'Rourke, you have to send the word start to that phone number. John O'Rourke, you have to send the word start to that phone number. We cannot text you until you text the word start, because that'll opt you into the communication. So you have to text the word start, John. Text the word start to that phone number, 1-888-621-2127. As soon as you text us the word start, we'll be able to then reply. I love that. Humar says, I've been here 1.5 years and I'm going to die here. TTG for life. Also, John, Adam's my business partner, co-founder of True Trading Group. He also sent you a text message from another phone number just to remind you. Greg Nelson, still have not perfected psychology without my to pay for mentor. Greg, if you have not perfected the psychology yet, then all more the reason why you should pay for a mentor to help you overcome that. Trader psychology is the biggest aspect when it comes to trading. It's actually what I specialize in. It is a huge part of all of the trainings and teachings that we do at TTG. We do several workshops and boot camps and trainings and one-on-one coaching when it comes to the psychological aspect of it. So, Greg, I mean, if that's something that you struggle with, brother, then this absolutely is the place for you. Mari is next level. Facts. Very true. And Mari, absolutely speechless. She's the most amazing AI I've ever seen. There is no other. I love it. How many members are on the stream right now? How many members? Type the number 1 if you are a member. If you are a member, type the number 1. Those of you that are members, we're going to open up main chat. You guys can head on into main chat. Those of you that are members, go into the main chat. Adam is going to open up the main chat. Again, those of you that are members, Adam is opening up the main chat room now. We've got something special for all of our members that have been hanging out with us on these live streams. Something special for all of our members, all levels of membership. Guys, head on into the main chat room now. For the rest of you that are not members, go to ttgoffer.com. Again, that is ttgoffer.com. Send a text message with any questions, 1-888-621-2127. Have a wonderful rest of your night, folks. Members, again, go on into main chat now. Members go into main chat. We have to welcome John. John just joined. Everybody welcome John, the newest member of TTG. Everybody welcome John. All right, folks. Members, head into main chat. Have a wonderful rest of your night, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Members, your butts, main chat now.